Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at Moccasin Creek at the Lodge at Taylor Ranch. This is part 2 of our visit up to this property. Super duper windy. This is filmed on 2 iPhones and a GoPro, so I apologize if it's a little noisy. Hopefully I adjusted the volume correctly. This is the more popular and harder of the 2 courses. Between our rounds, we got a chance to chit-chat with Avery for a little bit, and he gurned Andy into playing his second round of the day. So, 18 holes, par 57, 7,500 feet, starting off with hole 1's par 4, 580 feet. There's some trees on your right. They're not in play at all, really, unless you grip lock it real bad, and the basket is just past that group of trees there. We have a gnarly left to right, kind of over the shoulder tailwind. So Justin and I are throwing enigmas, letting the wind give them a little extra distance.
You talked me into it, man. This is your fault.
So yeah, some of you know, Mountain Sports, we sell kayaks, so I had a chance to talk about some shared experiences there and give him some tips and knowledge about his kayak, so that was pretty cool. Hole 2 on the approach, right before this big gust. That was a bobcat out of Justin. I'm throwing a mutant here. And the skip is just crazy on this shot.
Wind pushing that.
Hole 2, par 3, 480 feet. Got these cool painted storage bins that we're kind of throwing around. The basket is behind the one that says the lodge, but like on the tree line. So you kind of want to play around that. I was trying to throw a similar shot to what I threw on hole number 1, but I kind of just stall out and land. You'll see. I'm waiting for the wind. Or Andy getting his camera ready, I'm not sure. But threw it on hyzer. Didn't get a chance to let the wind help it at all. But on hole 1, I took a solo 4, and the other guys took 5s. Justin throwing his color glow. Destroyer. Nicely played. Hole 3, par 3, 400 feet. I want to watch out for that pond on the left off the tee. I throw a jackalope. Don't get it high enough to get the turn to the right, and I end up hyzering off towards that pond. Luckily it was dry. Not a lot of rain to be had. You'll see the creek in a few holes and it's quite low. Hole 2, everybody bogeyed. So putting is definitely a challenge today. Justin going with the forehand. None of us really knew that pond was there. There's also water short of the basket just past those little trees that Justin kind of hyzered in front of. So a lot of risk on this hole that we
Pured it.
We're pretty oblivious to. I'm in the weeds, super snaky looking. Didn't see any snakes, but definitely felt like they were there. That was a zone forehand was all I had. Still well outside the circle. Give it a little lofty bid into the wind. Get lucky that stayed close. Getting ready to mess with Justin. He's on to me though. So I tap in for my 4. They got 3s. Hole 4, par 3, 300 feet. You do have that pond short left of the green. You can see those cattails or whatever grass that is. I'm throwing my bobcat. I'm attacking after going par bogey bogey. I was ready
that works.
And it ended up being pretty good looking off the tee. I think this is FD3 out of Justin. And elevator up, right into the wind. There's a barbed wire fence property line over there. Stays safe. I was parked for 2 and Justin and Andy took 4s. Hole 5, 330 feet, par 3. The creek is in the low point in the fairway. Kind of after this little dirt road.
Oh, man.
Disappears on that little horizon line. The creek is right there. There's a bridge, but I don't think any of us were aware of it. And we're out of the open now. Throwing my jackalope. But the wind is definitely in play. Coming through that little creek channel. I caught some nice air bounces and skittered up to about 12 feet. So I went birdie. Got a 5 and a 6 in that hole. Hole 6, par 3, 345 feet. Playing down the hill we just walked up. Creek is deep of the green and snaking around to the right of the green. It was low, so if it was full like it is this weekend, saw some photos of it, would definitely make this hole much more dangerous. And he's throwing a bobcat. He's playing it safe, staying away from the creek. Justin is going FD3 again. He's playing it safe.
Yeah.
That's kind of hyzering towards the next tee pad. I'm throwing Instinct, trying to flex it just a little bit, and it catches that wind. And it almost clears the creek. It'll be early. Hole 7, par 3, 385 feet, playing back across the creek, almost in parallel to hole 5's fairway. I took a 4, circle 4, and then 2 5s on that last hole. Sure what disc this is out of Justin. Glow reactor.
Did the wind
Throwing that jackalope again. We're kind of speculating on what the wind is doing across that creek channel. Catches an air bounce up, then air bounces down under that branch, stays on Annie, and scoots up to that rock outcropping. One of the coolest looking greens I've probably ever played. Just really natural. You got this little overhanging cliff. Really picturesque. We ended up sitting down and hanging out and taking a break because this was our second round of the day at this point, so we weren't trying to push anything. Whew. Nervous on that one. Didn't want to yank it, and I almost fluffed it. So 3 birdies and a bogey at the last 4 holes. Feeling pretty good about that. Three park jobs at the last 4 holes. And that was hole 7, Moccasin Creek. So on to hole 8, par 3, 260 feet. Not a lot going on this hole, but the creek again. Moccasin Creek is on the right up there.
Okay.
And he's throwing a little flex shot with his heat, ESP heat. And that actually stayed in. It's not a cut bank. It does slope towards the creek. So he got kind of lucky. FD3 again from Justin. He's loving that disc today. Giving me a nice wind read.
Roll back down the hill.
Just to the left of the basket. Going bobcat here. Since it's under 300 feet, high hyzer, playing the stall, hoping that wind does exactly that to it. So Must have rolled down the hill because I thought I was further away than Justin.
Bottom basket.
And almost hit the
Justin,
basket
top
and
man
almost
now.
hit the cameraman.
There you go.
I wanted that one real bad. That would have been sweet to go 4 to 5. Hole 9, 330 feet, par 3. This is a weird one. First of all, don't take your carts up here. If you're using a cart, this is the only part of the course you don't want to take a cart up. It's awful. Justin throwing that reactor.
Those trees.
Stays
Jesus,
kind of
that was
high,
lucky and
catches that
awesome.
branch,
They
and
might still
just
be in the water.
barely doesn't make it in. So I say, okay, watch this. I'm going to throw it lower. Air bounced immediately. Very
That
wet.
is a stroke.
Justin and I both retrieved our discs. Right now the creek is full, though. I bet we would have not seen those discs again. Andy's throwing a bobcat, just soft pitch up. He beat us on that hole.
I don't want it to be able to be on YouTube.
So hole 10, 345 feet, par 3. For some reason, I didn't film the rest of this hole. Andy's phone and my phone were glitching because of the heat. So our footage was corrupted. There's a Mando on the left, not much on the right. A couple of tight gaps. But it is just a straight hole. You can see the basket off the tee. You're just playing for position. You don't want to go long. There is a cliff, like a legitimate cliff, deep of the basket. Hole 11, par 3, 325 feet is the first water carry, or big water carry, I should say. We've thrown over the creek a couple of times. I'm throwing Enigma kind of high. We've got a right to left wind, so I'm counting on it. I was trying to ace run it, and I was so glad that that tree is not over the water.
Great shot, man.
I wasn't sure if it was going to drop it into the water or onto the land like it did. But I thought that was going in. Justin's throwing a flippy leopard here. Just trying to get some max distance, and the wind gets on top of it. And he was on like a turtle-sized amount of dry land poking out, kind of underneath that footbridge. Another missed birdie opportunity. Hole 12, par 3, 345 feet. Got a super stiff headwind now. We're skirting over the edge of the pond, and the fairway bends from left to right, so I'm throwing that Lucid X Glimmer Maverick. Hyzer flipped it, and it matched the stability necessary for that wind. Pretty much perfect. I would have liked it to push forward a little more. Justin, I'm not sure what mole, Raider, I think. And it elevated up so high, but it stalled out safe. Cool pond. All of us were wishing we had like a little breakdown fishing poles with us. This is what I was left with on this crazy elevated basket with the wind. Too high, but it settled
nice.
close. I'm happy. This is where Justin's upshot landed. Scooted a little long the wind.
Justin.
Canned it, man. Let's practice putts. We're pulling things together. Hole 13, 695 feet, par 4. Throwing that Enigma again, just trying to get that full flex, and it barely missed it, but it just barely snuck to like the corner of the fairway. Justin's also throwing Enigma. And Andy's throwing heat, and we learned that there is water right there.
Andy.
Again, didn't get the rest of the hole, but it does dogleg hard. I'm standing at the corner right now looking at Justin's shot, and then to the left, or right if you're looking from Justin's angle, it is a hard dogleg, plays downhill. Really picturesque, quite cool. Fun upshot into the green. But we're playing hole 14 now, 340 feet, par 3, all uphill with a 15-20 foot gap to hit.
Good job.
Not sure what Justin went with. I'm going with this Z-Swirl Vanessa Van Dyken Meteor.
That turned.
And I just wanted it to go right. I wasn't messing around. This is where I ended up going Z-Swirl Luna. Just clearing that rock wall and scooting up for a par putt. Hole 15, par 3, 480 feet. Some chairs on this tee pad, much appreciated. This alone is a long course, but playing this as our second course was pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. It was fun though. It was super fun. So there's a couple little like oil rigs out here that are, I don't remember if those are flagged, but those little islands of bushes that are in the fairway, and honestly there's one like close to the green, those are flagged. I don't know if there was a big tournament or if that was recent, either before or after this video was filmed, and that's why things were painted and flagged. Yeah, I tagged that. Luckily the disc is okay. Or if the OB is always marked on these little creative greens to make the open a little more challenging. I don't know if those are always marked, but they were. Hole 16, par 3, 425 feet. This is a cool hole. You can't see the basket off the tee because it is about 15 feet below the fairway in the circle only, just about. It's almost a pit. But if you fly the green, you're out of bounds in that creek that plays, around holes 11 and 12. My jackalope, if it would have been about 15 feet further, probably would have skipped onto the green, but I caught this sandy patch at the highest point on the fairway. If it would have made it just a little further, it would have caught a skip down the downslope leading to the drop before the green. Hole 17, par 3, 480 feet. This was a tough hole. So ripping right to left tailwind. So we're throwing these flex shots, letting the wind drag them out a little bit, and then as the disc loses its speed, shows its bottom to the... I did a bad job on that one though. Then it shows its bottom. Actually, no, I threw this one correctly. So I threw a ripping high hyzer because this is a really flippy disc. So I wanted to get its height and then stand up straight and ride out. Anyways, Andy throwing a ESP Heat. And this one there's water short, which is why that bridge is there. And then this green is on a mound. Very easy to putt back and forth. I took a 4, Andy took a 5, Justin got an 8 because that green did exactly what it was designed to do. So hole 18, 655 feet. Those rocks down the fairway, you can clearly see them on the tee pad. You can kind of barely see them in the silhouette of the horizon in the video. I thought that was the green, and that maybe just the basket was blocked from our vision because that's how Northeast Lions Park in Norman is. It uses those similar rock features around the green. That is roughly the halfway point. You end up throwing over the road. So at this point in the round, this is all we filmed because that hole kicked our butts. So, and this is downtown Pawhuska that Avery recommended, so we went and checked it out. Lots of good food, some good shopping. We went and got pizza and garlic knots, and it was awesome.
This is where that Pioneer lady's from.
So yeah, lots to do here if you want to come stay the weekend and camp. Yes, we got some delicious pizza. We're watching USDGC on Disc Golf Network right before the crash, before the playoff, and some appetizers. So if you're in the area, definitely check out the Lodge at Taylor Ranch. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you out there.